Today on WBLN, we'll be looking at Cesar Conde and Tom Llama's visit back to Belen, the Hoya Sardina fishing tournament, the induction of the new pope, and more. Let's get into it. What's up, Wolverines? I'm Bhakti Burns.
And I'm Javier Carreño. Here's your news for today.
Two Belen Jesuits' most accomplished alumni returned to campus this week. NBC Universal News Group Chairman Cesar Conde and NBC Nightly News anchor Tom Llama stopped by to speak with students and revisit their roots. It was a chance to inspire the next generation. Michael Vila has the story.
It was a homecoming years in the making. Cesar Conde, class of 1991, and Tom Llamas, class of 1997, stepped back onto their Belen Jesuit campus not as students, but as leaders in American media. Facing both media coverage with NBC6 and Telemundo and the entire student body and faculty, the two NBC executives returned for a fireside chat in the school's Sadrigas Dining Hall, where they spoke to current students about their journeys from the classrooms of Belen to the national news spotlight. As they paid a visit to our very own WBLN studios, I got a chance to speak with both of them.
It is so great to be back here at Belen, and I'm sitting out here outside the Conde Media Center. And this is actually, before it was this, it was the school theater, and this is where it all started for me. Giving speeches here, performing plays, competing in speech and debate. It is amazing, and what I love is that Belen is growing, and that is such a great testament to all the people who have worked so hard here in Belen, all the teachers, the faculty, the staff, everybody, and the Belen community who, as we all know, we're brothers all over the world.
Belen did so many things for me throughout my life. I learned so much inside the classroom and outside the classroom. But I think the biggest thing that it did for me is it gave me those foundational values of who I am, what I stand for, and I've been able to take those values of hard work, of humility, of service for others, and try to take that throughout my educational and professional career. And so all of that started here at Belen, and for that, I'm eternally grateful.
A powerful reminder that big dreams can start in small classrooms. Cesar Conde and Tom Llamas say they hope to continue mentoring young journalists and inspiring future leaders, starting right here, where their story began. For WBLN News, I'm Michael Vila.
Get ready for the Belen Jesuit annual Father Hoya Sardina Fishing Tournament. It's a tradition that brings together families, alumni, and friends for a day on the water, all for a great cause. I sat down with the alumni on what to do and to expect this year.
It's that time of the year again. Rods are ready, boats are fueled, and the Belen Jesuit community is heading out to sea. The annual Father Sardina Fishing Tournament is making waves once more. This tradition is more than just a day on the water. What started as a humble fishing trip in honor of Father Sardina has now become one of Belen Jesuit's most beloved traditions. The Father Sardina Fishing Tournament brings together students, alumni, and families for a day of friendly competition. I spoke with Jose Pep Lopez Varela, the president of the Alumni Association, on what this fishing tournament means to him.
For us, the name of this tournament is very special for us alums. Obviously, Father Sardina was a very important figure in our Belen journey and our Catholic formation. He was one of our counselors for 7th and 8th grade, for the younger years. But you immediately build the bond. He was such a great man with a great heart. And even though he was the 7th and 8th grade counselors, we found ourselves continuing to visit with him even through senior year. So it's extremely important for us that it's named after him, and it kind of makes it very, very special.
To understand how the Father Sardina Fishing Tournament comes together and what participants can expect, I spoke with Mr. Macias, who plays a key and influential role in organizing this event.
Well, it's an event that, similar to others, brings the entire community together. It brings alumni, it brings current students, it brings parents of current students, current of past students. It really brings the community together. It brings the brotherhood together. It's more so an alumni event at the moment, but we're trying to bring it to become a school event along with the alumni event, and it creates a brotherhood it brings those two groups together, the alumni and the current students, to create that brotherhood across both spectrums.
I caught up with Mr. Mario Chaluja, a captain and a participant for the last 2 years. This is what he has to say about this event as a whole.
Well, as being a captain for the last 2 years in the Belen fishing tournament, Father Sardinian, I've created a bunch of new relationships, friends that have become family, the kids, the camaraderie. We've had a phenomenal time, phenomenal showing from the families from Belen, and it brings the community together. We've had a great time, everyone having fun, everybody competitive, and it gets bigger and bigger every year.
For WBLN News, this has been Javier Carreño reporting.
In a moment that bridged continents and generations, student and faculty at Belen came together to witness history unfold, as white smoke rose from the Sistine Chapel, signaling the election of Pope Leo XIV, the first American pope. Excitement and reverence filled the campus. Juan Pablo Stadhagen brings us a story of how this significant event resonated within our school community.
The Catholic Church is entering a new chapter with the election of a new pope. To understand what this moment means, we dove into this question, talking to certain people around campus.
Well, first of all, I'm very impressed that it was an American pope, which kind of also tells me that this whole idea that I thought that, the Vatican and Rome was kind of like a little iffy about the American Catholic Church, but they're demonstrating that they recognize the solidity and the importance of it. And the direction, look, this is a cardinal that was named a cardinal under Pope Francis, so obviously there was a closeness there. But at the end of the day, he's a unique individual. There are differences, and I'm sure there are similarities. But because of the fact that he's an Augustinian, so from a religious order like Pope Francis was from the Jesuits, this guy's from the Augustinians. And because of the fact that he worked for 20 years in poor areas of Peru, I think definitely one of the things that's going to stay is that love and dedication and compassion for the poor and the needy and the ones who don't have a voice in a world that, normally the voices are from the rich and the powerful. I think he's going to be really focused on making sure the church continues in that direction of focusing on people who are poor and most in need.
Others in campus are excited about the new pope and his following Pope Francis' love for the poor and unrecognized.
I definitely think it tells us that he's going to continue to follow Pope Francis's lead and continue hopefully leading our church towards a better understanding of how Christ wants us to live in this world. We can continue to be open to researching and listening and just trying to build an understanding of some of the church doctrines. And obviously this is at the very beginning, and he'll be giving us information, and we'll be hearing a little bit more about who he is as Pope and how his vision of leading the church. And it's our responsibility to continue to be open to listening and continuing to follow our faith and growing in our faith and the way that Christ has kind of led us up into this point.
To altar server David Medeiros, he is very excited for this new papacy.
Well, definitely His Holiness Pope Leo XIV did speak a lot about missionary activity, about our role as a pastoral church. And so I'd say that the church is definitely becoming more open. It's reaching out more. He will be a more progressive, more open to service Pope, as Pope Francis was in that sense. Honestly, I am very happy that he got elected, and I trust in the power of the Holy Spirit that he is the right man for the job. Especially, it's exciting to have our first American Pope. We just pray that he may live out his pastoral duties in the best way possible, and that he can lead the church to be even greater than it was before.
The message is already resonating, one of humility, hope, and renewal. As the church begins its new chapter, so do we, as students, as believers, and as a community walking together in faith. For WBLN, this is Juan Pablo Stadhagen.
The United States and China say they'll temporarily reduce the tariffs they added to each other's imports, starting Wednesday. In a joint statement, the countries said they'll each cut tariffs by 150% points for 90 days. That means the United States tariffs on Chinese goods will drop from 145% to 30%. China's against the United States will fall from 125 to 10%. The countries say they're committing to an ongoing trade talks during that time. The announcement comes after officials spent the weekend negotiating in Switzerland. The U.S. economy is reeling from President Donald Trump's 145% tariff hike on many Chinese imported goods and China's retaliation. Goldman Sachs now predicts a key inflation gauge, which will effectively double by year's end. The National Retail Federation forecasts at least a 20% drop in United States imports year over year in the second half of 2025. U.S.-China goods officials ironing out trade details.
What's up, Wolverines? I'm Andres Tirce, and here's your sports for today. Football is back in action. The Wolverines have a Friends and Family Day scrimmage today at 6 p.m. to prepare them for their spring game next week against Ferguson on Wednesday, May 21st. Make sure to come out and support. Keeping it football, the Miami Dolphins schedule for next year has been released. The toughest teams our Miami Dolphins will face include the Buffalo Bills, Los Angeles Chargers, Washington Commanders, Pittsburgh Steelers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Baltimore Ravens. Best of luck to the Dolphins as they face this tough schedule. In the NBA, the Timberwolves won their fourth consecutive game to win their series against the Warriors 4-1, gaining them a ticket to the Western Conference Final. The Celtics won against the Knicks last night, led by Derek White with 34 points. They now have hope to win the series, getting them one game back, taking their series 3-2, favoring the Knicks. With a 1.8% chance to gain the first overall pick in the NBA lottery, the Dallas Mavericks have now earned the right to draft superstar Cooper Flagg with the first pick in the 2025 draft. Lastly, the Florida Panthers have revived their series, winning their third consecutive game to go up in the series 3-2. They won in a blowout, winning 6-1, where almost all of the Panthers players had a point. The Panthers play tomorrow at 8 p.m. at Toronto to try and win the series in 6 games. That's all your sports for today. Now back to the guys on the desk.
Thank you, Bebo. That's all your news for today. Stay safe.
And stay golden, Wolverines.